Sometimes when talking about contracts in a learning setup like this one, we kind of assume that contracts are simple. Make an offer, accept the offer, boom, have an agreement, provide consideration, and you have a contract. But, as you're working, okay, or as you talk to people who actually do business deals, you realize that contracts sometimes can be very complicated. You can have a complex project, building a road or whatever it is. So the thing about this complex project is that you're going to have a lot of documents. And so with those documents, there's always going to be the question of which document is important as opposed to the other. Which document is going to be given priority over which one? So that is what we need to talk about in this lesson, okay? We're going to talk about the issue of precedence, okay? Precedence or order of precedence as far as contractual documents are concerned. Okay, first of all, I just want to understand that if you're getting into a contract, or if you're contracting, right? An order of precedence is not always a must. If there is an issue with documents, there are ways in which you can solve that. You're talking about, and I'm not even talking about litigation here. I'm not talking about you running to court. There are things we call alternative dispute resolution mechanism. Things like negotiation, reconciliation, mediation, arbitration. All this stuff are available at your disposal. So it's not always the case that you must have a clause, okay, an order of precedence clause in your contract. But what if it's there? Anyway, let's continue. But even with all these, a good starting point when an ambiguous or conflicting provision exists within a contract is to check the order of precedence typically set out within the document. Okay, what exactly are we talking about? What exactly do we mean by the order of precedence? So here's what we mean, or here's what I mean. An order of precedence is a clause that ranks documents of a contract such that it should be clear which document takes precedence. Now, as I pointed out in the introduction of this video, is that this clause is important if you're getting into a complex contract where you have a lot of stakeholders who have a lot of needs, or you're dealing with a lot of documents, designs, samples, schedules, whatever, all that stuff. And there's a high chance that one can conflict with the other. So that is why the order of precedence clause is important. In fact, is what you need to do. Part of this video, I've attached a sample order of precedence that I got from some website anyway. Just, it's a small thing. You can look at it so that you have a clue what you're talking about. So the idea is that if there is an issue, okay? If, say, one stakeholder wants something to be changed, maybe someone says that, we are supposed to be dealing with these suppliers because you said when you get to this point of the contract, we are going to have to recruit, or rather we are going to take goods from certain supplier, or it could be anything. It could be just somebody saying, no, we are supposed to divide profit this way when you get to this part of the deal. And I see that you guys are doing it this way. Then you can always go back to your documents and say, look, this is what this one says, okay? Whatever issue you are having as A can be resolved by doing B. And then they ask you, how do you know that? Then you say, well, he's outstated. This document comes, or that takes priority over this document. So that is what that clause does. And that is why it's important to have it in a contract if you think there's going to be an issue, such kind of an issue in that contract. Otherwise, you don't need it. Okay? You don't want to make your contract unnecessarily complex. But if duty calls, then you must have it, okay? Now, let's see something else. Remember, there is no universally accepted guideline as to which document is to be given priority. So it all comes down to the circumstances that you are dealing with. Now, there is something else that you also need to understand. If a contract says nothing about the order of precedence, what does that mean? If your contract doesn't mention anything like that, what does that mean? If the contract is silent on the order of precedence, it is assumed that all documents have equal significance. Yeah, remember, not all contracts are going to be complex. So it's just something that you need to know, but it's not something that you must have in a contract. So to really summarize all that, an order of precedence clause is supposed to tell us which document takes priority over which one in case there is a conflict as far as the documents are concerned, or as far as the stakeholders in that contract are concerned. So if there is any question, do let me know. I'm Moses, and I'll see you in the next video.